In a previous video, we talked about algebra, and the first thing of algebra is integers. Now, we're going to see how algebra connects with geometry. Here's a way how algebra can connect to geometry. On the left, algebra is a bunch of numbers and letters connected with equalities, inequalities, etc. On the right, geometry shows those connections on a physical representation of what those things mean. We call this interrelated mathematical concepts. Here's a fun activity to challenge your understanding. For materials, you're going to need a box of large paper clips, a box of small paper clips, a table or a desk, and a pencil or paper. First, take a box of large paper clips, all the same size, and interlock them. Then, measure the height of your desk or table from the floor to the top of the surface. Record that measurement on the paper. Next, use a box of small paper clips and do the same activity. How would you show the comparison without subtraction? If you move a mirror around the table, you would have measurements above, below, to the left, and to the right. How could you show the relationship of these points? This activity is relevant because let's say you had a take-home test that's worth 80% of your grade, and you left it somewhere in your room. To try and explain to your mother where the test is so she can bring it to school for you, you would have to tell her how to get to where it is, and then in relationship to that location, if it's up, down, left, or right. Now let's look at some history. To your right is a picture of René Descartes, a Frenchman who lived in the 1600s. When he was a child, he was often sick, so the teachers at boarding school let him stay in bed until noon. He went on staying in bed until noon for almost all his life. While in bed, Descartes thought about math and philosophy. One day, he saw a fly crawling around the ceiling. He watched the fly for a long time. He wanted to tell someone else where the fly was. Finally, he realized that he could describe the position of the fly by its distance from the walls of the room. When he got out of bed, Descartes wrote down what he had discovered. Then, he tried describing the positions of the points the same way he described the position of the fly. Descartes invented the coordinate plane. And the coordinate plane is also called the Cartesian plane in his honor. And now, it's your turn to check your understanding one more time. First, take a piece of paper like the one on the left. There's a link in the description below if you want to print your own. Then, draw a picture of your bedroom. You must include your bed, one place you keep your clothes, either the closet or a dresser, a window, the door to your room. If you have, add your desk, and label your picture, as you can see I've done for the bed and the door. How would you describe the position of these items? Up until now, you've probably seen grid paper like this and used it for your place value in addition, multiplication, subtraction, division. Now, you're going to see it as a coordinate plane. What I did here was I measured equal amounts on the left and the right to separate my x-coordinates, or horizontal coordinates. Then I measured equal from top to bottom to equal out my vertical or up and down y-coordinates. Everything on the coordinate plane refers back to this point, known as the origin, where you go 0 places from the left and the right on the x-coordinate, and 0 from the top to the bottom on the y-coordinate. A coordinate plane is broken up into 4 distinct quadrants. Quad is Latin for 4. Just like in the origin point, each quadrant has a set of ordered pairs, an x and a y. In quadrant 1, you have a positive x and a positive y. Quadrant 2 has a negative x and a positive y. Quadrant 3 has a negative x and a negative y. And lastly, quadrant 4 has a positive x and a negative y. Now that you know your coordinates, you can use this information to help you find hidden messages in pictures. If you would like to do this one, there's a link in the description of this video. I hope you liked watching, learned something, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks.